right. Thank you for coming on the podcast, man.
All good.
We've known you since we started our food truck journey, man. So
Yeah.
it's good to have you as one of our, I think you're second guest. So thank you for coming on. Also,
my pleasure.
on behalf of Niall and me, we want to kind of say thanks to you and Yinny as well, because you guys kind of gave us insights when we first started, like
That's all good.
how to kind of get ahead and where you make your money and how to run food trucks. So thanks for that, bro.
Yeah.
I just want to say thanks.
No, that's good. It's all about sharing the love.
That's it, yeah. And we try to do the same now, like when you meet new people as well. Good community sort of vibe. Yeah, cool. Well, I thought I'd start off by asking your background in chefing. How did you get into it, and how did it all come to be?
My background in chefing is, I was basically around 16, 17 and getting into quite a bit of trouble back in Ireland. And my mother found out that I was in quite a bit of trouble, so she wanted me to stop hanging around the streets because I dropped out of school quite young, and she found me a government-funded course that pays you €200 per week to study cooking. And me and my best mate from Ireland, from Killarney, we left and went to Limerick because all of our friends were just like in and out of prison, lots of stuff happening. It was a one-way street. So my mother was just like, you need something. And the reason she chose cooking was because when I was like 3, for Christmas, I asked for like a Thai kitchen that all my cousins just still make fun of me to this day for. And then got a children's cookbook when I was like 12, so she thought that there might be something there. And then we did it, and to be honest, I didn't have much interest in it at the time. It was an easy paycheck. Went back to Ireland, I went back to Killarney, started doing the same stuff again. And then eventually a couple of my friends passed away, and it kind of came like, all right, this is too much now. Again, my mother didn't know what to do with me, and my brother was living in Australia, so my brother said, send him over here, I'll sort him out, we'll keep him on the straight and narrow. I got over, tried a couple of different jobs, and I was like, I have a cooking degree, so let's try cooking. I started in an Indian takeaway first as a KP, washing curry pots. Loved it. Like, people were so cool. Big feed at the end of every service. Like, really good. And then went for an interview with an agency for this pub in Mackay called the Lucky Aussie that's closed now. And they were like, are you qualified? I said, technically, yeah. And they were like, are you confident? I said, yeah, I'm confident. And they're like, cool, come in for a shift. Went in, the head chef was like, you're in charge after tomorrow. And it was a nightmare. Luckily, a guy had been staying in the hostel. He was in Mackay to work in the mines. I told him like this, I don't know what I'm doing. He was like, I'll take a bit of time out of the mines, I'll come teach you. So he came, and then he kind of got my passion going for cooking, and then went to Melbourne. I just looked for the best restaurants I could find, basically, that were taking people on. I found an Israeli chef called Eitan Doran, who very talented guy. He taught me a lot of discipline, a lot of shouting at me, a lot of throwing stuff, but in a loving way. He wasn't a mean guy. He was a nice guy. He had my best interests in heart the whole time. And then went to Sydney, started working in fine dining restaurants like Two Hat, and just after that, everywhere I went, I tried to find the top chef or the one that their style resonated with me or what I wanted to learn, and just kind of snowballed from there.
Oh, that's awesome, dude. So Ireland, kind of getting into trouble, got you into cooking because mum was like, get off the streets and go do something. And then your brother, older or younger?
Older.
Oh, cool. Was like, come to Aussie. And then the jump from Aussie to New Zealand.
Just well, literally, to be quite honest, I knew nothing about New Zealand. I didn't know where it really was. I knew it was next to Australia.
Yeah, fair enough.
The only thing I knew about New Zealand was when I was living in Australia, I saw on the news there was an earthquake close to Australia. And I was like, oh shit, is it very close? And then my visa was coming up, and the recession was hitting back in Ireland. So my parents, like, work went down a lot. They were down to like 1 or 2 days a week working. They had to sell their houses. Well, the banks basically took one of them off them. And it got quite bad. So my dad made the jump to move to New Zealand, and he stopped in Sydney to surprise us. And he was just like, oh, we're going to New Zealand. Why don't you come here after? We went to Thailand for like 3-4 months, and then moved to New Zealand.
Nice. Thailand would be sick.
Yeah, it was good. Thailand, Cambodia, but I did, yeah.
Wasn't shipping.
No.
Oh, that's funny how you had the earthquake in Aussie and then you moved to the city where the earthquake was. Not very logical, but happens, man. Oh, that's cool, man. So when you were working in those restaurants and you were picking where to go, because obviously you wanted to train your skills and also learn from the people that you, would you say, admired, or like you just kind of
the people that were kind of doing stuff different. Like I worked in this one place in Australia in Sydney called Thomas Loves, and he spent like 3 years in the Fat Duck with Heston Blumenthal, and he came back.
The Fat Duck?
Yeah, in
which one?
In the UK.
Okay, there's a place called Fat Duck in Ashburton, and I was like, hold on. I was like, no, my friends, they ran that pub for a bit, so I was just
really?
I was like, no way.
Yeah.
Oh, crazy.
So, and that was like molecular gastronomy, which was quite cool, but like, I was in there making these different foams and like different molecular stuff, and I had no idea how to even cook a steak, and I was like, what am I doing? And I was on apprentice wages. To be honest, I was being conned a little bit. I think I was doing like 95 hours a week for 195 Australian dollars because I wanted to work there, you know. Like, he didn't give me the job. I went there, I knocked, I was like, I want to work here. Yeah. And he was like, oh, here's an opportunity. So
5 hours, man.
I did it for like 6 months, and then I was like, I can't do this, man. Like, it's not enough money to live, you know what I mean? So,
and it's your life, basically.
Yeah. And then moved over here and working in Queenstown in Novotel, met my wife, and we moved over to Korea. I went on a 3-week holiday to Korea, and I was drinking in an Irish bar one night at like 3 a.m. The owner of the bar was like, where are you from? I said, Ireland. What do you do? I'm a chef. He was like, if you're here at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning, I'll give you a job. I said, I don't have a visa. He was like, don't worry about it. It's okay. Yeah, we'll pay you under the table. And then he was like, we'll sort out your visa. Everything will be cool. So I kind of thought about it, and I cancelled my flight back to New Zealand.
That's me.
Ended up staying in Korea, and after 3 months, he was like, we can't do your visa. I was like, okay. So now I'm stuck. So I flew to the Philippines and did a visa run, came back to Korea, and I went drinking at another Irish pub and talking to the owner, telling him what happened. He was like, hey, we need a chef. So I worked there, and then went to Tokyo, came back again.
Did you work in Tokyo?
Oh, visa run. All just
to get out
the visa. Yeah. And then found another Irish bar, and they're all like in like. So you have Bundang in Korea, where like Cian Station was the first place, and then Jeongja was the second place, and good experience. But eventually, it was kind of like, all right, what am I doing here? You know, it's not the best move for my career. It's good life experience. Like, I lived with my wife's family. We used to make gochujang, used to make kimchi. Really cool learning the culture. And yeah, even like my wife was really worried when I was in Korea because she was in uni and she was like, oh, my parents can't speak English, Teen can't speak Korean. What's going to happen when I'm not here? Yeah. And so she was really worried. She went off to uni and she came back and we were just all sitting on the floor making dumplings, watching TV. And she was like, how? I was like, it's food, it's okay.
You can, like, that's the good thing about food is, like, even if you don't speak the language, you can all kind of bond over. Which is cool, man.
And that's what I love about the Korean culture too. It's just like everything's like in Ireland we always say how are you, and it's just like in Korea it's like 밥 먹었어? Like, have you eaten? That's how are you? Have you eaten? You know, and the whole culture is around food, which is it's quite cool, especially since like food is the thing that kind of saved my life, basically, because otherwise I don't know if I'd still be here or a free man, basically. Yeah, fair enough. So yeah.
Cool. Oh, that's sweet, man. And it all happened in Korea because you met your wife down in Queenstown, and then that took you, like, and in the way that was like studying as well, because I know you studied culinary over back home, and then before you moved when you moved to Aussie, you're working under chefs and stuff, but even that home experience with like your wife's family, you learned Korean cuisine from like Korean people, just from like regular people at home doing this and that, and they would have been like, I don't know. I think that's what food is like. When I learned like how to cook Italian food, I want to just go to some like nonna and in Italy, bro, and just like learn with a big pot, and we like.
Because up until 20 years ago, that's who the best chefs were in those countries. Yeah, like, now, obviously, don't get me wrong. Like Italy and Korea, they have some amazing restaurants, some amazing chefs, you know. But back in the day, it was like you learn from the home cooks, the really, really good home cooks. You know.
And sometimes that food's the best, I think, because it's also the experience. It's like, it's great when you sit out at a restaurant and they bring you the best possible dish, but there's something about just getting a good dish at home and making it. Like if there's a fire going or something, and just good conversations around it.
Yeah.
Oh, nice, man. Well, that kind of leads into the next question pretty well. Is starting Jaeju. I guess it's kind of self-explanatory. Once you meet your missus, you decided no more kitchens. And
well, with Jaeju, it was a bit different. So that I was working in Halley. So yeah, I was working in Halley, and then I got my residency, and then after that, I was like tied on visas for like 7 years in New Zealand. So whether me or the owners got along, I didn't really have a choice. I just had to kind of follow because I need a job, I need a visa. So it was kind of, I just wanted that freedom. And we looked at leases for restaurants, we looked at fit out costs, and we were like, it's going to be really expensive.
Oh, so you looked restaurant first before food truck?
Well, the whole idea first with Jaeju, because Jaeju means skill in Korean, like it's like A-E instead of I-E. Like you have Jeju Island, but then you have Jaeju, it's spelled different, same pronunciation. And
play on words sort of thing.
And the whole thing was that we were going to do nose to tail cooking and lots of fermentation, and it was just going to be like ordering whole fish, whole animals, lots of fermentation, really sustainable. And then we were kind of looking for the right lease. Everybody wanted to sign like a 10-year lease. Fit out would have been like 300-400K. You know, I've been working on a chef salary.
We had that $195 for 95 hours. Did you not have it saved up?
I'm bad with savings. I've always been bad with savings. And then we were looking at leases, and my wife was like, why not try a food truck first, because it's lower risk, everything. And at the beginning we wanted to do like, all right, let's do that kind of food but in a food truck. And we were doing like, you have like umuk skewers, which are fish cake skewers in Korea. So in the wintertime everybody like gathers around these little food stalls, and you pour your own soup, and you buy some skewers, and you just kind of all chat and eat. So we did like crayfish soup with the skewers, and we were trying to do like really good quality. And then my wife was like, let's try Korean fried chicken, and I was like, I don't want to do a chicken truck. I just don't want to do a chicken truck, you know. A bit of my ego as well. And then I think we did one event, and we turned like 4K, and then I was like, okay, we're doing a chicken truck.
It's because like you might have your own idea of what I want to do, but then people tell you what they want. I guess it worked.
So and then we kind of went with Jaeju with that, and we've been going since.
Keep going. And because how many years now?
Just going on 2 soon.
2? Oh, sweet.
Yeah. So we made it through.
Hold on, you must be. When did you open? What was your day?
We opened in July 29th.
Oh, but did you have a break after COVID?
Nah, I was working in midnight Shanghai in the first hit of COVID. And then I was in Halley for the second hit of COVID. And then we kind of came out of COVID, and then I got my visa. I got the COVID residency. So I got quite lucky.
Oh, because they needed people. They needed people here.
But if you were here for a certain amount of time or on a certain visa, you literally just got granted residency. So it was good. And now we just got our permanent residency recently.
Well, congrats, man.
Quite good.
So I'm going to see you around a bit more.
Yes, okay, hopefully. Cool. If I keep on the straight and narrow. I will.
Fair enough. No, you'll be fine. Oh, nice, bro. Okay, so food truck happens, and then obviously your newest venture's brewda. So what led you to going, hey, I know I've got a food truck, it's in high demand, and I got all these events. Why open a restaurant in the middle of that? Like, what led you to that?
To be honest, like, don't get me wrong, it's nothing against the food in Jeju. Like, I like eating fried chicken, I like eating smash burgers, I like eating it, but the chef in me wanted to do more interesting food. So we started a pop-up restaurant called Anju, where we like went to like Shafiq from Story let us use his restaurant, Gatherings let us use their restaurant, and what we would do is I actually talked to Giulio from Mapu, and I told him I want to open a restaurant. What should I do? He was like, why do you want to open a restaurant? Do you know how expensive it is? Do you know how much everything costs? He was like, if you came here and asked me, can I rent your restaurant the day you're closed? I'd say, yeah, win for you, win for me. And I was like, oh, that's a really good idea. So I just started talking to different chefs, and I was like, look, can I use your whole restaurant? We'll sell tickets. I'll give you 10% of ticket sales. You can also sell your own alcohol if you want. So it worked quite well. And then, my business partners at the moment in brewda, they kind of got wind of some Irish guy cooking Korean food, and they were just like, that's interesting, let's meet him. And we just met by chance then at the Tiny Door opening. And yeah, we kind of went from there. We had a few drinks together, a meeting, we clicked, and we just got on. So we were like, right, we have the same vision, we know what we want to do. Yeah. We have a very, very talented head chef called Jake Lee from Korea working with us in brewda. And me and him just kind of worked together to create a spin on authentic dishes, really. You know, we don't want to whitewash things too much. We want it to be like approachable for Kiwis, but also familiar for Koreans.
Yeah, so like the Korean community could come there and be like, this is just good food.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It would be like kind of modern Korean, I suppose you could call it, but we really don't want to. I often talk about this with the head chef and different people. Like, I don't mind being called a Korean fusion restaurant because it kind of is, but for me, fusion is like a mix of everything. We're focusing on like Korean flavors. We pick like a Korean dish, and then we're like, right, how can we dissect this dish and put it back together in a more modern format?
With some of your phones?
Yeah. So we just. And it's working quite well, we think. It's definitely hard, but anything good is hard.
Yeah, you know? Well, because it's different from running a food truck. I mean, food truck, you know, basically the winter's slow. Yeah. And then you've got all these big events, like you just did Illuminate. We've got regular markets and stuff, Electric Ave. You've got those big days, but you don't have all the overheads. Yeah. And then when you've got brewda, you've got you got everything.
And this is the thing, like, because you can be in a food truck, and you could turn maybe, say, for argument's sake, say 6,000, but it might be like 2 owner-operators and 1 staff member. But then you have like a restaurant, and you might do 5,000 or 6,000, but you have your rent, your OPEX, your 10 staff inside the building. You know, it's a much bigger game.
You just did Fire and High? Yeah. Because I talked to you last year about it, and I heard about it, and then I saw all the videos this year, and I'm like, it just stoked, because what's like 20 chefs or something?
Yeah, 23 chefs.
That's on, man. Yeah. Because you'd enjoy that, like getting out of the food truck where, like, obviously food trucks are different to the restaurants, but going and being amongst other chefs that are really good at what they do, that would be kind of fun.
And especially since I worked with a lot of these chefs, and, you know, it's just, it's a good day out.
I imagine. You're going to have to give me a heads up next year so I can actually come.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't want to participate. I just want to see it. Like, because I'm one of the people that say Christchurch is boring. So like the fact that these things go on, and I'm like sitting at home.
Well, that's one thing with Rod from Base Pizza, and like the guys from Food by Fire. They really like Fire and High, but like that whole thing. They funded the whole thing from their own backs. Like, they asked the council, they asked Christchurch, and said there was no funding given, and they were like, no, screw it, we're going to go ahead. And they put it all on. They set up 7 a.m. in the morning to set up all the barbecues. We literally, as chefs, just had to bring our stock, cook our food, clean up, go home. And they did everything.
Oh, so you didn't, because remember when we did that Otatahi smoke, and you had that set up outside your food truck? You basically had that sort of stuff. They set it all up.
No, I borrowed that. Rod lent that to me for Otatahi smoke. But for the Fire and High, they set everything up. They supply all the firewood, everything. Now, City Firewood also, they donated a lot of wood. It was just a really good community event that got together.
You almost have to, because like government doesn't. It would be nice if they helped out.
I know.
Especially a city like Christchurch, where we've got so many more people now, and things are finally starting to happen a little bit since that earthquake you felt in Aussie. It's nice to finally fucking see stuff happening, man. And it's just people got to get out there, and also like council and government have to get behind it, because not all small businesses can afford to put on an event like that. Like it's not cheap. Like,
no, it's not. It's not.
And you think about
they put in.
Health and safety. You've got security. You've got everything that you've got to.
Fire extinguishers for that.
That's
definitely.
Just a couple, man. Just a couple. Oh, nice, bro. All right. So when you started, when you're back in Jaeju, because that's where we met you. When did you realize that, you know, like you had to start hitting events and gigs and having like partnerships with, you know, pop-ups, like whether it be a brewery, whether it be, you know, like a coffee shop, whatever it may be? How did you know that was where you kind of had to?
I think we were very, very lucky opening our food truck, because Chris from Smoke and Barrel, basically, like, Chris is like the first person I met when I moved to Christchurch like 12 years ago. Through my brother, and he was a chef at Mrs. Hutch's Cafe, and he just met me, he gave me loads of tips, and then we kind of stayed in touch over the years, and luckily, like, he just told me, right, this is what you need to do, you want to do this properly, you need to do this. So we had a lot of inside knowledge going into this, which was super, super helpful. And then I think it was just trying to stay as busy as possible for the first 1 or 2 years, where now we're kind of realizing, well, it's not really, you don't want to be hardworking fool, you know, it's like, sometimes you might chase an event and you do $70 and you're like, well, my rest and my mental health and my physical health is more important than $70 actually. But for the first year, you just have to do everything.
You have to taste everything.
Exactly.
Because you don't know, something it might work for someone else, it won't work for you, or it might not work for someone else, it works for you. But that's where you find your sort of like happy medium, because if you just stay at the market you feel comfortable with it, you'll never see how much you could make at like a wedding or electric ave or whatever the hell it's going to be. But
and they're all risky, but you know, like usually things with highest risk have highest payoff. So, don't get me wrong, it doesn't always work.
Like, but you can't also play it safe.
No, you can't.
Because like owner operator, as you were talking before, like when it's you and the missus working, and same with us, like there's no costs, right? And if you're at a $50 market, sweet, everything's basically profit. But if you go to Electric Ave and you got to fork out entry fee,
cost percentage,
or like New Year's festivals, or, you know, Juicy Fest, whatever it is, you have to fork out all these money, and then you got food costs, 2 or 3 staff members. It's like it is risky, but
it's pricey.
But it also has the biggest turnover, so you've got to do it.
And you need that cash flow. You just like, I know people say like, oh, it's 20% or 30%. It's just like, it's still a big lump sum into the bank account.
It's 30% of a big number.
Exactly.
Instead of 100% of a very small number.
Yes.
Because that's I guess we didn't know that. Like when we started up a food truck, like because I know Corey from, and obviously I know Chris as well, but from Smoke and Barrel, I met Corey through basketball. And like talking about it and stuff, I thought I was just going to be doing, you know, food truck alley. We go to our vegan night market, and you know we go to 3 Boys now. But like I thought that's what we were going to do, and then.
I'm trying to silence.
No, you're fine, buddy. You're fine.
I thought I did.
Sorry. You're all good. No, and then before you know it, we had people asking, "Oh, do you do weddings?" Because there's not many vegan food trucks that will do weddings and stuff. And then, you know, festivals. Oh, I never thought of doing a festival. But festivals need a vegan option. Okay, well, I guess we're doing them. And then now, after, you know, we're coming up to 2 years as well, it's like, oh shit, I guess we do big events as well as the community things. And you've just got to pick and choose what works for you. But all food trucks look different.
I know.
I
know. And I think that's what we're learning now these days, is that like, instead of trying to do 200 tradings per year or whatever it is, choose your top 50, choose your top 60 with your highest profit percentage and focus on them, and then try to branch out into catering. That's really now our business plan moving forward, instead of just being exhausted.
Instead of being like, hey, I'm going to be open 7 days a week and stand there for 10 hours and maybe sell something. Instead, how about we do 2 or 3 big events that smash it. No, it's interesting though, eh? It's the key thing is finding that life balance, and I don't know how you do it now with brewda. There are times though, because I know it's funny to laugh, but it is a serious subject. It's like there's times where you have to just, like, summer's coming up. We're not going to sleep as much, and it's going to be full on. Way more for you, because I've only got a food truck. But like, what is it? It's like, you know that those weeks are going to be busy, and you're going to have to prep, and you're going to have to clean, But that means in the winter, that's when you know, hey, this is when we've got a little bit of downtime. I can kind of take it easier. So do you kind of look at it like that? Do you try to pick
I
a
think
couple
I'm
of weeks?
kind of like my wife tries to draw me back in a lot, because that's when we started Anju. We went through like a quiet period in winter, and I was like, all right, so what's the plan? Like, my wife says I have ADHD. She's not a doctor, but she says it. But I do have a problem with like just sitting still. And I'm always kind of like on the lookout, right, what's next? What can we do next? And I don't like quiet periods. It gets me anxious. So I try to keep myself busy, whether that's like studying, whether it's talking to people, like different chefs, trying to learn from them, just learning myself, you know, just, I don't like wasting time.
Fair enough, So like seeing like, 6 months of slow season, no, I can't have that, I got to do something during that time.
I think, and it all draws back to when I was a teenager in Ireland, and like, I remember when I was like 17, 18, just before I moved to Australia, my mother took me to like 6 graveyards on Christmas Eve, and she was just like, you know, when I was your age, I didn't even know one person that was dead. So I think from a very young age, it put it in my head that time is not infinite. It's very, very finite. You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong, and I need to find a balance better with, because you still need, like, your body will tell you and you can't go anymore. You know, like Jaeju was busy, Brewda was busy, we won Best New Establishment, we got into the Cuisine Magazine Top 300, we were quite busy. And one day in work, I'd been down to get some in the fridge, popped up, and both my meniscus and both my knees were just like, I couldn't move my knees. And went to the doctor, they were talking about surgery, take it easy, and then luckily, a lock from Kung Fu Dumplings, he sent me some exercises for my knees and stuff. I did them, and the team in Brewda were really helpful. They were like, look, you just rest, because there's no point you getting worse, because then it's not good for anybody. And I rested, and luckily my knees came back naturally. I went into the doctor and the surgeon, I met with him, and he was like, look, it's still a bit sore, but it's showing good improvement, and let sleeping dogs lie. Don't get a surgery if you don't need to. You know what I mean?
Because there's complications, and then there's
you have how long out of work. You know, and then but now it's kind of like, and that's a perfect example that like your body will, when you need to stop, if you don't want to, your body will make you stop. You know, it's something I've learned like a lot of times. The same when we opened Brewda, just before opening Brewda, we went to Korea, we fire on high, getting the fit out done for Brewda, getting everything done, working 7 days a week, 14 hours a day, and then just COVID. Just like, and I have a pretty good immune system. Like I don't get sick very often, but it was I was bedridden.
So you were pretty bad with COVID.
I was bedridden. Well, it was like my second or third time getting it. The first 2 times it was fine. It was like a cold. But this time I was like bedridden, and that's like, you know, your body telling you, hey, you need to slow down. You don't want the rest? I'll make you rest. You know, and
it's also sometimes if you have a busy day at the restaurant, I imagine, or food truck, you don't eat because you're prepping all day or you're cooking all day. You don't really you eat crap. You don't eat at all. And then you're burning all these calories. And then you get bugger all sleep because you've got something else.
Not only not eating, but you probably had 4 coffees and an energy drink to keep you awake.
There you go. That's it, man.
That's my problem.
Oh yeah. And then there's also the other stresses that just come from big events or setting up for a big weekend in the restaurant, I imagine. Oh, dude. Life balance, eh? It's one of those mysteries.
I know. It is important. I need to get better with it, but I have a plan. I'm 33 now, and I feel like by the time I'm 40, I want to retire. So I'm just like, if I just go 100 right now, and then hopefully I can. And then Thomas, one of the new chefs we hired, he just moved over from the UK. He was like, yeah, chef, you can probably retire by 40. You might be in a wheelchair, but you can retire. So, you know, you also need to be careful what you wish for.
Because it might not look like the retirement you think.
Exactly.
Because you're expecting, sweet man, are we back to doing sports and I'll be running around roller coasters now. Oh, dude. So do you find a way to relax when you finish big events and stuff? Like, do you restore yourself somewhat day to day, or is it more just, hey, we wake up and we go again?
I try not to think about it. I get home and I just throw on cooking shows, read cooking books. I try to just keep my mind busy. If I'm going to just switch off for 2 hours in front of the TV, I'd rather put on a cooking show that, it might be crap cooking or whatever, but it's still something to do with my passion. It's something that, and I believe you can learn something from everywhere. You know, I've learned from commies, I've learned from KPs, you know what I mean?
And it could be just one little thing, it could be an aesthetic even.
Exactly.
Or the way they plated something. I don't know. Oh, nice, man. Yeah, because I think that's probably my way I relax as well. And I know you meant to go home and sleep, but when I get home, if it's at 12 o'clock after finishing a big event or whatever, I still want to watch something for I grew up with...
You want your evening.
You know, like renting DVDs and watching a movie. I love like films and TV shows and stuff. So like getting home and just watching one of those, that winds me down in a way. And if it does affect your sleep, I might not get 8 hours, I might get 6.
I know.
I can't operate less than 6. I'm terrible. I imagine you found a way.
I'm usually about 6. I usually sleep about 6 hours. Yeah, I try to, but it's weird. Even if I go to sleep at 2 a.m., I just like 7 a.m. and just wake. Okay, I'm up now. And once I open my eyes, I feel like if I close them again, I'm going to waste my morning.
You're going to be back up at 12 or something.
Exactly, and I don't want to wait, and then I just feel bad for the day. I'm just like, because when you wake up at like 6, 7 a.m., you can get so much done.
Oh, it's
by 12,
amazing, dude. Yeah.
And then you can chill.
Yeah.
Have a nap.
I'm in the same boat as you. I love mornings. So like getting up in the morning, I like reading, and I like kind of do all my like admin stuff in the morning.
Yeah.
Hit the gym, and then I'll do work for like 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah.
And then I like to just chill in the afternoon. Like that's my
set
setup. Like kind of do everything you need to do before lunch.
Yep.
And then after lunch, might have one thing I have to get done, but you've got 8 hours.
And you have a sense of accomplishment
for sure,
in the
man.
morning.
You just like stack up wins. Like the whole way, it's like made my bed, brushed my teeth, did the prep, ordered the, I don't know, it's nice, man. Yeah. But at least mine's not too stressful. Like we've got a pretty good teamwork, me and Niall and stuff. So, she takes care of certain things, I take care of other things. So like we both know the 10, 20 tasks you've got for the week. You take care of that, and then Thursday's prep, for the weekend, and it works for us. So we like the whole work-life balance. So like the first half of our week's kind of slow, and then Wednesday today, it's kind of gets the ball going. Thursday still kind of chill, but prep basically get everything ready. And normally before we went on holiday, we were working Thursdays. We just haven't got there yet, just because still like it's like we could go sit down and open up for 10 hours. Doesn't mean you're going to get 10 hours of customers. So it's like we'd rather keep that energy and value our own time, because we know when New Year's comes around and we have a 5-day music festival out of Christchurch, I'm not going to get rest then. So like when that shit comes along, and there's a couple of things, we've got like weddings, then a festival, then and it's like, I will enjoy this time, because I know I won't let it down the track. And that's because I want it to keep going. Like I don't want, and you'd be the same with Jaeju a bit. I don't want to burn myself out so that I give up and then I just go work a normal job. I want the Saucy Kiwis to continue.
And that's what the risk is. Like even my business partner in Brewda, she was saying the same to me. Like we need to lead by example, and it's not just working hard, because if we all work our asses off and we all get burnt out, the restaurant doesn't work. These guys don't have a job. So it's finding that balance of leading and showing that you need to work hard, but also showing that you need to take care of yourself. So that's been a learning curve for me.
And then also if that happens, the people that you have now, your customers and community, I like to think, is like the people that come in regularly. If you burn out and you close, now you're gone, and then you're just that restaurant they used to talk about. And like that sucks, because there's so many places I remember I loved. Not here. You know what I mean? It's like, damn. All right, well, to finish up the episode, bro, I got 3 random questions for you. But I actually do want to know the answer to the first one. I actually really do. What's your favorite dish? Like if you, not one dish that if you couldn't eat, you only had to eat this for the rest of your life. What's your favorite? Like if someone could plate it, put it here right now, what's your
favorite dish? I like sweet and sour pork.
Fuck, I'm the same boat, man. I used to love Chinese, man. I love Chinese growing up. Sweet and sour pork. Are you a rice or like a chow mein noodle sort of dude?
Rice. Rice. I've never been really that much into noodles. Or smash burger, man. Like I like cooking interesting food. I like eating street food, and that's where I think the Jaeju thing kind of,
It scratches the itch. It's like, okay, cool, I can cook whatever I want in the food truck. I can be fancy at the restaurant.
Exactly.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool. I'm the same. I love street food, bro, and I love noodles, like stir fries and things like that. So sweet and sour pork, man. I'm gonna try to do a spin on it. Probably next month. I think we've got some time.
Yeah, I've seen it. That would be quite cool.
I'd done it. I did it 2 years ago before we opened the food truck. Made it, and I was like, sweet, we'll bring it in. And I just never bought it.
Would you be using like seitan or?
Yeah, so it's like we buy in this it's a honey, it's like a char siu sort of pork. So like it's just got kind of the right chew, the right bite, and then we just make it. Well, I did a beer batter the first time. But then I used, is it soda water or tonic water? Carbonated for the batter, and then I bought local sweet and sour sauce just to see if it would work. And now it's like I need to do my research and make my own sweet and sour. And I've never been able to cook good fried rice. That's my one thing. So like, I imagine
No,
you,
I was head chef in a Chinese restaurant before, so I have some good sweet and sour recipes.
looks like you and I need to have a conversation.
Definitely.
Yeah, no, because people would love it. Because I put it up to the community. I was like, oh, what should we make? And I thought everyone would say sweet and sour pork, but a couple of our like main customers messaged us and said you need to do that. So yeah, we'll have a chat.
Yeah,
I'll
definitely.
learn. All right, number 2. What is your dream? Like, what's your dream scenario of this thing? Like, multiple restaurants, food truck.
Eventually, I know it's a bit out there, but I would really love to have Jaeju as like almost a takeaway kind of, not franchise, but multiple outlets, and then maybe a couple of restaurants in South Island, North Island, one in Australia, one in Korea, and one back in Europe.
Oh, so you want to like open up multiple for both? Yeah. Okay, nice.
No, and I feel like if aim high and land close, it's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, if you aim for like 20 and you end up at 15, that's still pretty good, eh? Yeah. Oh, nice, bro. Cool.
Not going to be easy.
No. I don't know if you're going to be getting more sleep.
Like,
But you've got 7 years of hard work.
7 years. Well, we've only been back in New Zealand. We only moved back from the UK 4 years ago, 5 years ago. And we've got a food truck and co-own a restaurant already. So when I see that much can be done in 4.5 years, I'm like, well, why can't we do more later, you know?
And also, like, you learn what works and what doesn't. Like, you've already learnt those sort of things now. Yeah. And so when you're replicating it, you've kind of already got the blueprint, right? So it's probably going to be easier to open your second and third more than your first.
You learn. Yeah. No, don't get me wrong, my wife's going to kill me when she hears that dream.
that dream, yeah. Well, she's going to be there right alongside you.
It's enough.
Yeah. Fair enough, man. All right, well, this last question actually might coincide with that. If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
The limitless pill.
The limit. Oh, so you can just be
100% clicked on all the time. Because my thing is like when you work really long hours, and like I'm running between the food truck and the restaurant, and you know you want to give it your all, but you only have so much energy and so much mental capacity that sometimes you just get brain fog and you're like forgetting like tiny little things. But just to have that full
100% capability,
100% of the time, that would be it.
Shit, you'd be a weapon, man. You'd be like. Well, that's awesome.
And if they made a limitless pill for energy as well.
Yeah. I think they call that sleep.
Yeah, or speed. No,
one of the two. Oh man, well, I appreciate you coming on, bro. As I said, met you straight away on our journey and been mates ever since. So
yeah, man.
Happy to have you on and probably do it again some other time, hopefully in the future. When you've got restaurant number 3, 4.
Hopefully.
Awesome. Well, appreciate you coming on, bro.
Thank you, man.
Cool.